Hello everyone, welcome once again to another Power BI related tutorial by Team Slidescope. In this part, we are learning about creating a North America retail supply chain and sales analysis dashboard. This is part 1 where we are trying to analyze sales, profit, total number of orders and returns by month here. As you can see current year sales, previous year sales, and year over year percentage growth for sales, profit, orders, even for returns. You can see sales and profit trend over years, which segment contributes mostly in sales, category wise sales contribution, and you can see the year over year growth here as well dynamically, region wise business overview, and sum of sales by country and region, like in Canada and in United States. What are the total sales values? Most important thing here will be to understand all these different DAX uh, tables that we are going to create. So we are going to create this calculated table. We are going to create these calculated columns that you can see here. We are also going to create return orders using the lookup value function. We will also learn how to apply year over year label. You can see the up arrow. If profit is less, then you will see the downwards arrow. Then we will say see previous year orders, previous year profit, what year are we considering as current year. All of that will be discussed in this part. So this is, and we will also focus on design, how to design this, how these lines are designed, and different type of other configurations. So let's get started. The data set that we are using in this project is sample superstore data set, but in this data set we have values from 2021 or orders from 2021 to 2024. We have ship date, like when was it ordered, when was it shipped, shipping mode, customer ID, then we have customer name, segment, country, region, city, state, province, postal code, region, central, east, south, etc. Then we have product ID, product category, product subcategory. We have sales value, quantity value, discount and profit as our measures, and this is in the first sheet. Then in people, we have information of who is the manager of that particular region. So we are going to create a relationship here. And in returns, we have information of 801 orders that were returned. So in order, we have 10,195 orders, although these orders are instances. Like here you can see same order ID, that means 3 products were ordered here. So we will load this data and start analyzing it. We will quickly open Power BI desktop, and we will load the data. Don't worry, you will not get this warning. And here we are simply going to load the data by clicking Excel workbook. Here in E drive I have saved the file. So what I have done is I have simply saved it as a Excel SX file, the version that we get from the original source. Like from here we got this from this particular thread. So this is in XLS format, which we are going to change in XLSX. This is optional stuff. We will simply open it, and in the file you can see we have order, people and returns. So we will click order, all the headers are appearing properly. We will click people, here we have issue. In returns you can see in column name we have issue. So instead of loading data, we will go to transform data, and in transform data, in returns you can see column 1 is appearing as header. So in Power Query Editor we will use first row as header. This is something we have done in previous cases also. Here also we'll use first row as header. Second thing to check in your case will be if order date is appearing properly as a date. So you should see calendar here, otherwise you have to change the type to date. Remember this. So this is important thing. and other than that everything is working properly. We will simply click here, close and apply. Changes are being applied and it is now done. So what we are trying to do here is we are trying to create a sales analysis dashboard for USA retail supply chain and sales analysis. But in the dataset we have Canada and United States, so we will simply call it North America sales. So first we will add this and let's paste this. So we will call it North America retail supply chain sales analysis. We have done analysis on this type of data set before, but that was only for North America and had orders from previous years. This has orders from more recent years and it has information from both USA and Canada. So this will be our heading here. We can make our heading bold, but in the whole purpose of this particular tutorial is to teach people about design and how to do current year and previous year calculations on a realistic data set. I will simply, so it will be focused on design also. So if you don't want to look at design, you can skip a little bit ahead, otherwise just keep seeing. So we will go to insert and add this shape because we want to make a header. Okay, and I will keep the header size like this. If you want to check how much height it is, you can go to properties. Height is 53. I will do it, make it 55. So this is our header, and in the header we have style, we have color. You can use any color here as a header. So let's use this color. Color code is 0D24, sorry, 0D2F4F. And now we have the text box. So we can put this text box over here. So, and because these text box have a background, that's why you are seeing like that. So you can go to effects and remove the background. Now text will not be visible because it is a dark color over a dark color. We will use any other light shade color. So this will be our heading, and you can see even after doing that it is not visible. So because here in format we will send it to back. Now you can see in layer it is in the backward most position, and now this text box is just over it. So that way you can arrange the layers. So this is North America retail supply chain analysis, and here the dashboard that we are creating is a summary dashboard. So after creating this summary dashboard we will create another one, and that will be, let's say, order analysis or revenue analysis. Those kind of data sets can be prepared. Next, what we can do here, um, this is our canvas. For canvas we can select a background. So you can select any of these colors as a background and give it a transparency. Okay, so it's your choice. Let's say we are going with some color that I saw on the internet. Yeah. So now this is good. So it was there in one similar report, and we can use transparency according to our choice. So let's say I will keep 10% transparency here. Now we will click on this shape and copy and paste. So we are going to use this shape a lot, or actually I don't have to use this one. I will insert this shape. I will insert this one, rounded rectangle. So in rounded rectangle we are going to display some KPI information. So first of all, here we have a shape, and in this shape also we are going to use the same color. So like the color that we used here, so we will use the same color here also in this shape. So it will be like this. So you have your color and you have your other shape. Here we can put some graphs. So here basically we are going to display sales information. Okay, like whatever measures we have, if you remember, like in our orders table we have sales, profit, quantity. So we are going to display them one by one. First we will display sales. Let's keep the font size to around 12 pixel, and we will put sales over here. Obviously I have to do, yeah, and we have to reduce the width. So this way we can create the cards. So this will be our sales. I want to avoid this scroll bar. Yeah. Now in the sales card, first of all, we have to show some sales information. So along with KPIs, we can also create some kind of graphs. So if I take a line chart, for example, in this line chart on x-axis, whenever a date is properly read as a date, it will be appearing as a hierarchy. So what if I display month information here? So this way it will summarize the data for each month, because we have information for 4 different years, and for 4 different years we will put month on x-axis, and on y-axis we are going to put sales. So you can see it is going to prepare a graph like this. If we had to show this graph, then we could have used all the labels, etc. But here we will not display axis information. So when you will click on a graph and click here format your visual, you will find a lot of visual options to enable or disable. So we will click on y axis. Here you can see we have values. We will disable them. For x axis, for y axis also we have values and title. We will disable them, and same for x axis also, title. So these are two important things. This is our heading. We will not show because we somehow just want to show trends. Or let's say for y-axis, if I just want to show, sorry, for x-axis I just want to show the title, or I want to show the values, I can enable that. Okay, so yeah, I will just keep that this is month because it will be important. This is sum of sales by month. This will be your title. We can remove the title. In effects we can remove the background also. Okay, now we will have a graph like this, which we can adjust over our card there. If your labels are not visible, so what we can do, we can go to x-axis. We have enabled the values, so we can choose a different color for them. Okay, we can reduce the size so that we will be able to see their color also. This way in our chart we will be able to see monthly trend. And here we can come to lines, and we can select any color for lines. Let's say we want to go with this color. Okay, and here we also have markers. We can enable those markers if needed. We can display the graph as a smooth value as well, and then we can simply click area chart to show the shaded portion. This is optional, but this will prepare our first card, that is sales. And now here we want to display a lot of other information as well. So I will simply zoom it, and then after zooming I am going to put more information here. Now to proceed further with calculations, the thing is we are doing this analysis in 2025, and this is data from 21 to 24. So first thing that we have to do is we have to create a new table. So we will go to our modeling tab and create a new table. Whenever we have to do date related calculations, we must create a date table. So we will use calendar function. In calendar function we will provide a start date and end date. The start date will be 1/1/2021, 1st January 21, and end date will be, end date can be this year's end date, although we are analyzing it for 2024. but current year is 2025. So like we can do that, and this will be our date table, and here we will have a date column. What you can do next is like inside your table view, you can right click here and you can mark this as a date table. So this way you can select a column to be used for the date, because here you have all the continuous dates from 21 to 25, right? You can select a date column, because when you use calendar it will show a date column, and when you will click OK, so you will see an icon like this. And one more thing, you can see order date is there. So we can tell Power BI that uh, we will go in the model view, and in model view you will find date. So we can tell that this date is same as order date. So when you will create this relationship, you will see that it is now showing as date. One more thing in this data set that we have to do is, here we have returns and we have order ID. So we have to tell Power BI that this order ID and this order ID is same. So this relationship has cardinality many to many. This should be only used if it is expected that neither column order ID and order ID contains unique values. So we will deal with this later. Right now we are doing sales based calculation, and now you can see, as we have done that, you can see that now the order date is no longer showing as a hierarchical value, and that's why it is showing date wise values to us. Then how can we show month? So if we create a new column here in orders, and let's call it month, and let's use month as our function, and date will be order date. So in orders table the order date is month. I know this is an extra effort, but to do calculations like same period last year or those type of time intelligence DAX queries will work only when we have something like this. So now we have month, and let's check that, and you can see month is given as 1 2 3 4, but we want month as Jan, Feb, March, etc., right? So for that we are going to use format, and we will use the date table. In date table we have date, and we will write MMM. So we will go to date table, and here we are actually going to create a new column. So, and that is what we are going to call as this. What is happening here? MMMM. So we are using 4 characters here. First let me create that, then you will see that in date table we have the month, and now it is going to show January, February, March. Okay, what if we do triple M, right? So you will see now it is showing as Jan, Feb, March. So it is the same thing. However you want to show, you can show that. And now in this chart, instead, because these two tables are related, so this relation is exists, right? We have made sure that this date is and this date is same. So instead of order date, let's try month here, and now we have the data. So now you see a problem that it is showing in this particular order, highest to lowest. So what can we do? So that's why whenever we are in date table, we mostly add 2 columns. One is a month and one is month number, let's say. So this is where our month function can be used, and in month function we are going to use date table date. So when you will do that, you will have month number also. See, we are doing this for beginners, and beginners should know all of these things that we have to do. So most of our students request these kind of things. So now we have month number, okay, and here you can see in column tools you have sort by column, and now you can select the month number as that sort by column. So like for example, in order ID we are in table tools. Okay, here you don't see that option, but here you will, when you are inside that, you can see in column tools when you select a column. So here also, suppose I want to select order ID, so sort by column will be order ID, okay, or order date, whatever you want to use as sort column for that table. So here we want to use sort column as this. We can save this entire thing, and let's see now. And now if you want to show as a month number, you can show that, like if you want to show monthly from 1 to 5, 1 to 12. And here also, when you will click this, you have to sort by month number. Okay, this is important. And now let's try. So if we go with month, so now you will see, so whatever column you are picking in your visual, you have to sort that particular column by a particular value in the column field, and that you just saw here. Now we are doing analysis in 2024, but 2025, but this data is actually 2024's data. So that's why I am manually adding a flag, current flag. So we will go to modeling tab, create a new measure, and I am just going to use it as CY flag. So if year in date table is 2024, right? And whatever date related measures we have to create, we will create in this table. So this is going to select the current year flag. Okay. So here, and I'm making a basic mistake. This is basically not a column. This is not a measure but a column. So we delete from model, and because this will be for entire, for all rows, so we will just create a column. So yeah, now it will create a CY flag. So like for example, here you can see CY flag is 0, and in some cases the CY flag will be 1. Okay, so whenever the sales will be from 2024, CY flag will be 1. So we are, what we are doing with this is, we are just considering that 2024 is the current year, although in other cases you will choose current year as the current year. This is optional thing. So now if you want to calculate total sales for current year, like 2024, so you can write CY sales is equal to calculate sum of order sales, and in date table we have current year flag equal to 1. So in calculate function we write the expression. It can be an aggregate function like sum. So we are calculating sum of sales from the orders table, and from date table we are saying that current year flag should be 1. This is one way. So this will calculate current year sales. Okay, and let's find out what is current year sales. So if we add a card visual here and we add this, so this is showing us CY sales. And what we can do is, we can simply go to general tab first of all, FX, disable the background. So now we have to show the value color like this. This is category label, we can remove it. Call out value, we can make it around 16 pixels. So this will show us current year sales. Okay, and we can use it like that. So in sales, suppose we want to enable title, so we can simply write CY sales. Okay, and this title will not be visible. So first of all we have to select the title like this. We can reduce its height, so let's keep it 9. So this is going to show us that CY sales are 745.57k. Now as we have calculated CY sales, what will be PY sales, like previous year sales? Okay, so previous year sales will be, either we can enter it manually or we can do it programmatically also. So we will copy this measure, and in modeling we are going to create a new measure. And so previous year sales will be calculate sum of order sales in date table. We will select date equal to, and actually we have to select year. So for that we will create another column here. So we will create a new column, and this column will be called as year. Okay, so now we will have year. So whenever you are creating a date table, mostly we create month, month number and year, and mark the date value as date. So like we have done this, we will create another measure here, and in that measure we are going to call it py sales. So we are going to call it py sales, and here we will say that year is equal to 2023, or this is one way of doing that, or we can do it something like year today. Okay, this is a programmatical way of finding out what year it is, but we are doing 2024, so this becomes -1. This is previous year, but since we want 2 years back, so this will become that. So there are a lot of ways. I just want to try and test them out. So now this will be py sales. If we create a simple copy of this, and now we have previous year sales, if I add that, so you can see previous year sales are 613.93k, and here in title we will just write py sales. Okay, so we did all this exercise, like we created cy flag, etc., etc., just to demonstrate you use of different type of DAX. Instead of this, you can simply create month, month number and year, and you can also do this, like if you want to do previous year sales and want some other year than this year, so you can write -1 for current year and -2 for previous year. Or if you want any other year sale, you can calculate that programmatically with the help of these formulas. We will remove this empty measure, it is not needed. Now we have cy sales and py sales, and we want to see the percentage growth or percentage drop. What I am going to do is I will simply show it in a different color. So for this, the call out value I will choose is this color, so that we can see that this is representing the current year. And to show the percentage, now we have two values and it will be a simple divide. So we can create a new measure here, and or you can go to modeling tab and create a new measure in that table, and here let's say percentage increase or decrease. Okay, or we can call it year over year growth percentage. So we are going to use divide function. So our in divide function we have numerator will be what is current year sales minus previous year sales, and if it is a positive value or a negative value, it will appear on or appear as a numerator, and then you will create a denominator which is previous year sales. So what percentage is it more than previous year, and we write this 0 to avoid the 0 by 0 error. Okay, so now this YOY percentage is created. Let's copy this, and let me try to just show that. So this YOY percentage is 0.21, it is showing as 0.21. Now what we can do, we can go to this measure. So we are inside this, and we can show it as a percentage, like we can say it's a percentage. So in your measure tools, you can click here in your measure tools, you can show it as a percentage. If it is a money related value, you can show it as a dollar, and now you can see 21.44%, and that's why we are going to show the title as YOY percentage growth. Okay, so this will show us that y percentage growth is this, and we can show it in a different color, like let me select some color like this, and we can show it in a color like this. So this is y growth percentage. Let me select more dark shade of green, right? There are multiple ways of showing these values, but this is one way we are using. One more thing I will do is, like, this is month wise sum of sales. Now we are comparing CY with PY, current year with previous year. So we will do CY here, and we will also put PY here, and this will compare them. Okay, so like you can see, and let's select some other colors. So in lines we have all, let's say current year. For current year I will select current year value as this, okay, or a lighter shade. And for PY sales I will select a dash line, okay, and I can select any other color. Let me select this. So this way you will be able to see in which month we have growth, right? So we can select and see month wise performance also by zooming it. So this is something you can do, and let's fit to page. So this way you can create your chart. Although this legend is there, which our legend is interfering with our measures, so we can place them little bit like this, and now we have the data. And if you want, we can reduce the height. So this is one way of showing this year sales versus previous year sales. If you don't want to show legend, we can come here and disable the legend, so that we can see, because when we will take your mouse over, you will be able to see that. We can see in some months PY sales are more than current year sales. In some months they are almost equal. Here also it is more. And in most of other cases, like from August to November, company showed great growth here. Now some other student asked me whether we can show up or down. So for that we can create another measure here. So in modeling tab we can create a new measure. I want to create the new measure inside orders table. So right click new measure, and inside orders table we are going to create YY label. So let's create that. I will check later. And now basically what we are using here are Unicode characters. So this is a Unicode character, this is a Unicode character, and format is change in percentage. So if change is greater than 0, we will show upward arrow. If it is less than 0, we will show a downward arrow. Okay, so like here we are showing this, and let's add another. Let's copy this. So on the basis of this calculation for sales value, it is going to show this arrow. So if I select arrow, so now you can see it will show upward. So you can see, and it will not only show upward, but it will also show the percentage value, because change is there, right? So change is YOY percentage, which is being calculated. So what we can do now, we can remove this, and we can actually show this one. So this is YOY growth, and if the growth is positive, it will show like that, otherwise it will show a downward arrow. So you can try this. I will provide all these measures. In fact, I will provide this Power BI file also. If you want, you can ask it in the comment section. So this is something you can now apply from your end, and this way we are going to create other cards. Now what we can do, we can create a copy of it, paste it here, okay, and do it for profit. So this is sales. We will do it for profit also. So what we have to do is just repeat the same step. So just repeat the same step for profit, like CY profit. So if we go CY sales, we copy this, okay, and we right click here, new measure, and we say CY profit. Let's quickly do that. Sum of orders profit. Okay, let's do that. So I have made some changes here, like I copied sales, then created one for profit, created one for orders, but before changing the measures. So I will explain you how it works. So here you can see, like we created, first of all we created CY sales and PY sales, right? Like previous year we subtracted 2 from here. So similarly for PY profit, we are just doing calculate sum of orders profit from the year, whatever year is today, we will subtract 2. Now similarly we also created profit YOY. So we have current year profit, previous year profit divided by previous year profit and 0. So this way we will have YOY percentage, and we have to go to measure tools and change that to percentage as well, because this profit YOY percentage in measure tools should be a percentage. Okay, now after doing that, we have, like we created YOY label, so we will also create the PY label. So this is profit year over year label. Same way, we are just mentioning the change is profit year over year percentage. So it is the same copy as we did in case of sales. So here instead of CY sales, we will write CY profit. So this is CY profit, and we are going to call it CY profit. Okay, done. Next is PY sales. So we remove it. This will be previous year profit, added here 82.6 thousand. This will be our PY sales, PY profit. Okay, and finally the year over year growth. Here you can see we also have growth in case of profit also and sales as well. So for that we created profit year over year percentage, and we created the label. So here we will just drag that label. So this will be profit YOY label, and you can see we have YOY growth as 16%. So when sales grows by 21%, profit is growing by 16% for the last 2 years that we can see. Similarly, you have orders. So like for orders also, CY orders, what is current year orders? Now here I have a different formula. Like previously we were using sum. Here we are using distinct count of orders. Like in orders you will see there is order ID. This order ID is being repeated. So if you have to count how many products are there, you can count it. But if you have to actually calculate how many distinct orders are there, then you have to use distinct count as a function. So if we are doing distinct count function, in distinct count function we will select the column for which we want distinct count, and obviously current year flag is equal to 1, that is 2024. So we will just replace this. So this will be CY orders. Next is PY sales. So we will replace it with PY orders, and that will also be calculated with the same formula. Here also we are going to use the PY function, distinct count function. Okay, so here we are going to select it. So this will be PY orders. And for order growth, okay, like we created profit YOY growth. So now we have to create one for uh, orders year over year growth. For that we are going to create a measure. So this will be order YOY percent growth, and we will divide current year count of orders minus previous year count of orders divided by previous year count of orders. So this will be order year over year growth. Remember here we are doing it manually, like we are selecting current year and minus 1. If you want, you can give any year and give option to users to select year 1 and year 2. That is something that we have taught in other tutorials. So here we can select order year over year percentage. You can see it is currently showing as 0.29, but I actually want the label here. So like we created profit label, we will create orders label also. Let's create another measure here. So this will be orders YOY label, and here we will have where change, and this will be orders YOY percent. Okay, and return is the same. So upward arrow or downward arrow, and here we are going to select the orders YOY label because this label already has. So now you can see actually the number of orders that we received are 28%. Now next thing that should be changed is this. So we have to remove them, and here we will drag CY profit. So just a minute. Yeah, we will keep month, and here we will keep CY profit, and we will keep the PY profit. Okay. So here you can see how it is varying, and for profit we can use different lines, for example, or different colors basically. So current year profit we will keep solid, and let's say for current year profit the color we will choose is this color. For previous year profit we will choose it as dashed, and the color that I am going to select for it is this color, so that we can compare profit. Similarly for orders, let's remove this. So this is previous year orders, and this is current year orders. Sorry for the noise coming from behind. This is current year orders, and we are going to do the same thing. So again go to line, maybe repetitive work, but let's do that. So here let's select a different color. Let's say we are selecting a color like this, and for previous year I am selecting some random colors. You can also do it as per grants guideline, and let's say we are selecting this. Okay, so this will show us comparison. Like in case of profit, you can see we have a very interesting comparison. Like you can see dash days previous year. Okay, so you can see in current year in some cases we have a very high profit, or it we have seen a huge amount of growth in months like March, in months like June or August, but in some cases, yes, we are behind also. So this is year over year comparison for that. Now, before proceeding further, because our next block is going to be returns, and you remember in beginning we were facing some difficulty, right? Like because here usually when returns is given, only a unique ID of order is given. So let me show you returns. So this is our returns table, and the problem is here this ID is written. So actually it is showing that 800 rows written, but actually 296 distinct values are there. So from here we have to create another table which will be distinct order IDs. Okay, we are not going to select all of them. So what is the count of distinct order IDs in return? And for that we will just go and create a new table. So in your modeling tab, a new table, and that table will be returned orders. We are using function called distinct. So when you want to create a table, you can use distinct. Okay, unique returns a one column table that contains the distinct unique values in a column. So here we are using filter and returns returned is equal to yes. Okay, so we are just using a filter. In filter you are saying like what is the table name? So table name is returns, and returned is yes. So we are only going to return distinct number of orders, and let's see what it gives us. So here you can see order ID and return, and in returned orders you can see we have only 296 unique values. Now we will go to data model, and the problem that we were facing, many to many, will not be there anymore, hopefully. And here we will, when we will say this order ID is same as this order ID, so it is going to give us the value. Maybe I'm again using return, sorry. So we have the returned orders actually, yes. So this order ID is the same as this order ID, and now without asking any question it created the relationship. So now next thing that we have is order ID. So just let's just first of all calculate, like, because when this relationship is created then only this date table is going to work. Okay, so here from returned orders, if we select order ID, we can say it is giving us a count. So why is that? Let's fix that. Now to explain the step further, first what I created, you can see in returns, um, I know this is working for me but may not be the best solution, but if you have some solution you can recommend also, like while trying. So here is returns. In returns we know that let's see the returns table. So in returns table we know that return and order ID is given. This means this order is returned. Then what I did, I created another table. Let me show you the formula. Here I just selected distinct. We applied filter. So from the returns table where returned is equal to yes. So we are selecting only those records. So obviously it is selecting distinct values. So that's why in this table you will find only those orders which are distinct. That's why out of 800 rows, like 800 products were actually returned. We have got 296 rows. Now I created another table here. This is called returned order with dates. I will provide all these codes. So returned order with dates is add columns. Okay. We have distinct. We have filters. So what we are doing is, earlier I tried to use related everything, because when I created this returned orders, I created this relationship. Okay. So I created this relationship, and you can see relationship is active also. So technically it should understand the relationship between date table and here, right? That when was this product returned, etc. When we were doing that, like see here, so it is a line chart. So from the, because we created the relationship, so if we add month from here, okay, and if we have y-axis from the returned orders and count of return, it is showing a flat line. So I tried a lot of things but it was not working, so I created another case here where you will learn how can we use lookup value function. So if that relationship is not working somehow, or Power BI is not able to recognize that, so we can create add columns. So with the help of add columns, you are creating a calculated table, and in add columns you can see we have a table name. So the table name we are using is this table, right, where returns is this, or basically we can use the returned orders table. Okay, now we will not need this table anymore, so because this returned orders table is created using the same formula. So or you can use this table's name here, whatever you want to do. So this is extra now, and so this is add column. This is first column that we are selecting. So first column will be your order ID and your order status, return status from this table, and second column will be order date. Okay, in add columns, you can see we have name and expression. So name will be order date and expression is lookup value. What this lookup value does, it selects the result column name. So result column name will be order date, search column name. Search column name is order ID and search value return ID. It's basically a way of saying that we are joining tables, we are selecting order date where order ID is equal to returns order ID. And now we can create this table. So now I don't think this will be needed. Let's delete from model. Okay. So now this is written with orders. It will still be relevant. So this is written with orders. And here you will see return its order ID and its order date. So now let's say we want to see returned orders in a particular year. So for that we are going to select this. So now this becomes our main table and let's say this is PY orders. So similarly in this new table we are going to create a measure. So remember we are going to create a measure in this table. So we will create new measure and we are going to say returned orders. So previous year returned orders and we are going to say calculate distinct and here also the name is same, right, or but the table name is different. So we are going to say distinct count returned order with dates order ID. We are counting them where now here is the interesting part. Here we actually have to select year from here. Okay, so here we will say order date. So return orders with date order date is equal to year today. So we have to select year of this particular order date is equal to year minus 2. So this will create previous year return orders and now let's check. So on x-axis we are going to add month from here, okay, and on y-axis we are going to select this. So now you can see this is previous year returned orders, okay, and we can say this is previous year sales. Previous year returned orders were 77 and we will just go to title previous year returned orders. Later I will definitely try to figure out something, but so here you can see its value is not showing. It is actually 6 now, okay, previous year, because that's what it is showing. And this is previous year returned orders. Now similarly I will copy this and click it new measure and here we can calculate current year returned orders and here we are going to say here this is and here we have to write 2024 or year today minus 1. You can also write that. So this is current year returned orders. So let's add them here. So now it is 77. I will just place it here. Now this will be current year returned orders. So here we are going to write that it is 105. So this year actually we have more returned orders. So we will go to title and this will be current year returned orders, okay, and we have to increase the size. And now if you want to calculate this thing year over year growth, so this year over year growth was created with the help of this function. So year over year percentage, so we will just create new measure here and call it returned year over year percentage divide previous year returned orders, sorry, it will be current year returned orders CY returned orders minus PY returned orders divided by PY returned orders. So this will be returned order year over year percentage. So, and this should be created in this table. One more thing here in this chart, this is showing count of return. So we will put previous year. So you will see day wise, month wise, and previous year. Okay, we will be able to see that, and we will change the lines also. So for previous year, let's say we will show dashed lines, and the color that I am going to use for previous year is, let's say, this one. So I will just do this much because other values are clearly visible now, and here I will just write returns. Okay, and now it is created. And finally the year over year growth, or year over year growth in case of orders, that is something that we will calculate. So that is the label. So like we created YOY label, so we will go to new measure and say YOY return label, and change will be YOY returned YOY percentage, and that's it. So now here we will just add return YOY percentage, and before that we have to change it to YOY return label to, let's keep it, you can rename it later. So we have to change return YOY level to percentage. So it is 36.36%. So this is one way of displaying the data, and this is how we can display our KPI label here. So this is North America Retail Supply Chain Sales Analysis Part 1, where we have created all our KPIs. Next we can show is sales trend, like what is the sales trend overall. So we can select any chart like a stack column chart. We can select like this. Here what we can do, on x-axis we can keep the month name or year name, whatever you want to keep. And if you want to see sales trend over year, sales trend over time, so let's keep year here. And on y-axis we can select the revenue, which is given as sales share. So this will show us what is the sales trend over years. And if you want to select profit also, for example, so we can add that, and then we can use a clustered chart. So this is sales and profit by year. So if you want to keep that, there is one more way of displaying that, like line and clustered column chart. In line y-axis we can display profit. So you can see sum of sales and sum of profit over here. One simple thing that we can do, like for this, the background color is this. So here for this chart, first of all, I'm going to select the background color. So in general effects we have background. I'm going to select this color. Now you can see a lot of labels and graphs are not visible. So first of all, for title I will select this title, and we can say sales and profit trend over years, or whatever you want to put here. You can see these are labels, these are legends. So in legend you can see we have title and text. So for text we are going to select the color. So now it will be visible. This is x-axis. So in x-axis there will be title and values. So let's select color for them. So now this title is visible, and now for values let's select values are visible. Similarly for y-axis, and there is secondary y also. So I'm quickly going to do this. Title this. Next is secondary Y. Secondary Y we have title only. Let's select. So this is how you can create that. And one final thing I'm going to do is in general tab effects, I'm going to select the visual border. Okay, we can select the same color for visual border and select rounded corner. So you can select, now we have a, see, now we have a rounded corner. Or like you can see we selected a border color here. So in effects we have a visual border color, maybe not, but here we can have. So for visual border, let's have a, let's have this color. Okay, so this is how you can highlight it. So this is sales and profit trend. Next, let's try to create a table chart here. So in this table chart, we are going to do the same things. First of all, in columns, we are going to put region because we want to analyze region wise data. So we will put region. So you can see central is southwest. These four regions are there. Then what is sales for each region? And here we will change the label. So we will say total sales or something like that. Okay. Next is we also have total number of orders. For that we can do orders count. So we have order ID here, and we can do count of distinct order ID. So count of distinct order ID, and we will say order count or orders count. Okay, so we have region, total sales, order count. Next we will have profit, like for these many orders, what is the profit? So we will have profit, instead of sum of profit we can just say profit or total profit, or average profit. If you want to choose, you can select that measure. So now we have regions, total sales, order count, total profit here. There is a style preset. You can see we have a minimal with bold header. So we, if you want, you can try bold header, minimal, or none. Okay, you have grid. So we have actually this horizontal grid, vertical grid lines also we can enable. We can use a width. Before that, I'm going to do several things. First of all, for effects in background, I'm going to select this one so that it is same. Next is I can apply the same formatting here, so it has the border, etc. Now let's say in the style preset, I will just go to none, and then in values you can see the text color. So I will select the text color like that, alternate text color like that, and this is grand total. So this one is grand total. So for grand total, let's select a little bit different color. This is header, so this is column header. So we will select another color. Let's say we want to go with this color. Header values we can increase so that it fits the entire width. Now I will try to increase the values also, and we can increase the values so that it fits the width. Okay, so we have order counts here. If needed, I will rename it, but now it is okay. So this is region, total sales. I don't want to show in two lines, so I will just call it count. So I will just call it order or orders, something like hashtag orders, like count of orders. So this is what you can see now, and I will give it heading as region wise business overview. Okay, so now we can reduce its size, place it here, because we want to actually place three values here. Okay, in second row, like in first row we have four visuals, here we want to put three visuals. This is something that is very sensitive to touch, So I will not touch it because now you can actually select for east region, for central region, etc. Okay, here one more thing I forgot. So here in actually in lines, okay, we will give a different color because that color is not blending with background or blending too much with background. So let's give this color. So this is now sales and profit. Now next thing that we have to do is sales by segment. So we can copy this and paste it over here. And for segment, we can use a pie chart. Now when we are using something like a pie chart, you can see that here we have a legend value. So first of all, we will use some categorical field as a legend. This is what we have discussed many times. So you can see consumer, corporate and home office. This particular value is not visible properly. So in slices, I can select a different color over it. So let's say I go with this color instead of orange. If I go with this color or a little bit of lighter shade. So this way you can select different colors for it. It's totally optional, but let's go with them. So we went like that. And here you can see segment legend is properly visible. And next thing is we have data labels on. Position is outside. So you can see position is inside, prefer outside, etc. In first of all, let's show what text is there. So you can see now we can increase the size. So it is showing the exact value and percentage. So like what you want to show, you can show it here. And here the title will be which segment contributes mostly in sales, or you can write it as per your own decision. So this is something that we have a reference, so we are just trying to do it accordingly. Another important thing to remember here is that we have data of two countries, so we can provide some filters over here as well. So I am going to add a slicer, and in that slicer we will add country as a filter. You can use many other things as your filter like category, subcategory, etc. But let's say we are putting country as a filter. So here we have country, region, and you can see we have Canada and United States as the values. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to use slicer settings and display it as a tile. So now you can see we have Canada and United States name here. For this background, I am going to choose in effects. We are going to disable the background, and I can select this color as their button color. So here in visuals, we have values. In values, we have a background. So we can select some color, like let's say we press more colors. Color that I selected as canvas background, that is something that I am going to select. This one. And once we have selected this, obviously you can see font is not visible. So we will select some light shade font color. So this will become our buttons for filtering. So if you will press Canada, if you will press US, you will be able to see data, and then you can press it again to clear it. Next we can see category wise sales also. So for that we can use a simple clustered bar chart, and I will copy the same styling or formatting. On y-axis we can either put category or subcategory. There are three categories mostly in this dataset, or we will check. And in x axis we will select sales, And we can so you can see we have technology, furniture and office supplies. So we can apply the same kind of formatting here as well. So here, for example, we have data labels. We can switch it on, and in values we can select a color that is properly visible. We also have bars. If you want, you can apply some transparency here. For space between categories, like you can reduce that space. If you want to reduce it further, you can do it like that as well. So it's your choice. How much space do you want between each category? Then for our data labels, we have other type of settings also, like we have background, detail. In detail, you can add some data. Let's say we want to add, this is total sales. Let's say we want to add current sales and current year and previous year sales as well. So you can add that. So this is previous year sales, and if you want to increase that, for example, we just want to show YOY percentage and not other values. We don't want to show this, we don't want to show this, we just want to show that. So you can show that particular value. In display unit, when I will do none, you will be able to see that. So like you can do a lot of stuff like this here. And here that field is YOY, you can select anything else or select an aggregation if it applies. Like here it is looking like 0.8 million, 20% or something. So we can show multi-line. Okay, in multi-line also you will see the color, so you can select some color like that. I'm just showing it here, like, although it may not make sense, but this type of settings can be done here. Next, a lot of things can be shown here, like product wise sales, uh, subcategory wise sales, we have regions, etc. But one thing that we are just going to do for this dashboard, for the summary part, is we are going to show a map wise detail. So we are going to use the field map. In the field map, I will first of all copy the same formatting. In this field map, in location, we are going to select country and region, and we can auto fix it here. In country and region, and suppose we want to show sales, so we will select the sales value in tooltips, and after selecting that sales value in tooltips, we can go to fill colors. In fill colors, let's select any color, and what we can do is we can apply some kind of rule. Let's say you want to show a different color for Canada, a different color for uh, USA, you can select that, or you can select gradient line. So if the value is lower, what color you want? So let's say if value is lower, we will show this color. If value is higher, we will show this color. So here you can see, as per the data, value is higher in United States. So we can see that. In map settings, we have controls like zoom button. Okay, so we can zoom, we can focus over a particular area. You can see the geocoding culture is also given. So for that geocoding culture, you can apply different type of values here. You can also give a lasso button to select a particular value. So this is sales by country or region, and you can show all. Obviously, if you want to change them, you can change it from here. Now we also have legend information. So for example, in data like this, suppose in legend we want to put something. Let's say we want to put a state. I'm just giving an option here. Legend basically covers the countries, covers the colors. So here we have a state information, state province. So you can see different states are now being shown. So that is something also we can do, but right now we are just creating a separate chart. And for example, here if we select Canada, if we select United States, or clear the filter, we will be able to see those values. So this is how we can show sum of sales by country and region. And similarly, we can now duplicate, and let's say we want to do region wise analysis. So here we can select USA, and for USA we can display information of more things. So we will display it here, then we will duplicate it for Canada. So this is something I am going to do it in another chapter or in another video. I will create several other dashboards, but this is the one that we have learned how to create this. The main elements were all these different simple DAX codes that we learned here, so that we can apply them in different type of date related sales analysis, financial analysis calculations.